Some of the hardest decisions that I've had to make definitely came earlier on in my career when I was planning on leaving my previous organisations. Obviously, in this day and age, people don't stay in a workplace for life. You don't stay with the same employer forever. But it is difficult knowing the right time to leave, especially when you've got job stability, you like your job and the people that you're working with. For me, mine came with career progression. I wasn't necessarily getting what I wanted from the places that I was working at, so it was time to move on.
One of the biggest decisions I've had to make recently was leaving a company that I'd worked for 17 years for a new job. I had to make a decision between staying in my current role, which paid more and I had relative stability, but professionally I was treading water, or join a company in a role where I'll be challenged and fulfilled on a daily basis, but where I wouldn't have that security of tenure.
How I made these decisions, I spent a lot of time writing pros and cons lists, writing what was good about where I was currently working, but then what wasn't so great, and then what benefits and challenges looking for another job would bring or working for another company would bring.
Having to make this decision didn't just affect me, it potentially had an impact on my family and our day-to-day life. Before I made the decision, I spoke to my wife, as she would be affected by me being relatively unhappy and unfulfilled in a role, but with it being secure, or having a job where I was fulfilled and I was professionally fulfilled as well, but there was less security, but I would ultimately be happier.
Once those decisions were made, or once I'd written my lists, I would spend a lot of time speaking to people that I trust. So maybe that was a colleague or friends or my partner, but usually also my dad, who can be very pragmatic and straightforward in his thinking, to then kind of justify and work through my reasonings with them. Once those decisions were made, I'd always speak to a line manager afterwards to kind of say, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I want to do.
When making the decision, I took time to reflect, looked at the pros and cons of the choices. I spoke to the people I trust and found out their thoughts, but ultimately I had to make the decision for me, and I had to own that decision. So when I came to that choice and when I made my decision, I had to back myself that I made that right choice.
Those decisions are hard. It is really difficult, but usually the conversations that you have from them give you that clarity and help you make the right decision in the long run.